Hey guys, this side Anirudh. I'll be your trainer today. So we have few sessions that we already gone through for BGP. So welcome to the next session. Let's go on.
However, interface is up, but now it will stop to advertise this prefix. Now, if that interface remains up, its penalty will keep on to decrease. Its penalty will keep on to decrease, and after a level, after a certain level, it will start to reuse it, right? Are you getting my point? But in case if your interface flaps once again, its penalty will be increased. Is not it? And it will not start to advertise it towards any other BGP neighbor. So I hope that you people have understood the uses of BGP dampening over here.
तो इंटरफेस बंद ही रहता तो पेनल्टी बढ़ती रहेगी वही रहेगी
I said whenever interface will go down, its penalty will be increased. Otherwise, it will always keep on to decrease, whether interface is down.
कमी होती रहेगी
Right, guys? So see, it is suppressed now. It will start to reuse it after 5 minutes and 19 seconds. I hope that you people have understood the uses of BGP dampening. So yeah, of course, I mean, in most of the cases, we will be using default parameters of BGP dampening. Like if your interface flaps 2 times, then of course it will not suppress your prefix. But if it flaps 3 times, then it will immediately suppress your prefix, because third time means it will be around 3000. It means it will reach 2000, and if it reaches 2000, I mean if its penalty reaches 2000, it means it will suppress that prefix, right? So this is what BGP dampening. I hope that you people have understood it now. Tell me. For sure. This time we enable this dampening for all prefixes, right? For all. You can also enable. And one more thing that I would like to show you over here on BT itself, so IP BGP dampening, dampened path. Fine. Flap statistics. It have flapped 3 times. It is dampened now. It will start to reuse it after 4 minutes and 9 seconds. Have you understood it? For sure. Good. If you want to enable dampening for specific prefixes, because sometimes you suspect that okay, this interface, I mean this prefix is creating problems. So you will not enable BGP dampening for all prefixes. You will enable BGP dampening only for that specific prefix. So for that purpose, what will you do? You will create one, first of all, router BGP 35500, no BGP dampening. Just remove it. Do show IP BGP. Check it out. See. Clear IP BGP. Start. So IP BGP. See. Everything will be fine this time, right? So this time I want to enable BGP dampening only for 103. Let's say. So access list, or you can create one prefix list as well. Damp permit 103.0/24 route map 10 permit 10 match IP address prefix list is what? Damp set BGP set dampening, and then your dampening parameters. Here if you are configuring BGP dampening for some specific prefixes, then you have to define your parameters by yourself. Half-life time for penalty means like your penalty will be just half after that, after this specific time period, right? So it will always be in minutes. Let's say I have configured it as 5 minutes. Penalty to start reusing the Route by default it is 750. You can make it 1000. Penalty to start suppressing route by default it is 2000. You can make it 1500. Maximum duration to suppress a route by default, it will suppress for maximum 60 minutes. I mean, it can suppress a stable route for maximum 60 minutes, but you can make it like 15 minutes. Fine. Just come outside. You just configured route map till now, right? Do show history. Then go to router BGP 35500. BGP dampening route map name was damp. Simple.
What is half-life?
After half-life, its penalty will be just half.
Okay, you will define it in minutes.
Show IP BGP dampening parameters. Dampening reconfiguration is in progress, so we have to do some wait. See. Right guys, so in this way we can do this configuration, but this time you will see that dampening will work only for prefix 1 or 3, not for any other prefix. So if any other prefix is going up or is going down and coming up, going down, coming up, then there will not be any effect of this BGP dampening, right? So I hope that you people have understood that how to enable BGP dampening and what is the uses of BGP dampening. Next topic in BGP is going to be now how to generate a default.
कोई लिमिट है कि अगर इतनी देर के बाद हो रहा है तो डैम्पनिंग अफेक्ट ना हो, गैस के लिंक आधे घंटे या 20 मिनट बाद फ्लैप हो रहा है
Penalty, it will be depending only on penalty. There is nothing like related to timer.
टेबल तो टेबल रहेगा, वीडियो तो होते ही रहेगा.
Why? Even if your flapping is occurring after 20 minutes, penalty will be there. So within 20 minutes, I don't think so that its penalty will be 0. You understand? So finally, its penalty will reach 2000 and once again it will suppress it. I mean, it will be depending on the conditions.
Initial configuration है जो specific
Fine. Then after it, let's learn or let's go for that how to generate, how to inject default routing to BGP. You understand? So let's say that R5 and R6 are receiving a huge number of prefixes coming from their ISPs. I mean their neighbor ISP. But R1 do not have that much good hardware configuration. So R5 and R6 do not want to advertise all prefixes information towards R1. So from R5 and R6 we can give a default route in the direction of R1 in this way. Move on R5 and it is really simple. Router BGP 65500 neighbor 150.1.1.1 default originate. Then after this command you do not have anything else. I mean route map is there, so that you can configure conditional default routing. Hello, same as RIP and OSPF, conditional default routing, that okay, you can configure IPSLA and all these things, track object, right? Then you can also move on R6, router BGP 65500 neighbor 150.1.1 default originate. Now you do one thing, move back again on R1 and check its BGP table. You will see that this default route is coming from both neighbors, so that now you can filter all other prefixes. So this R1 can still reach them with the help of default route. Fine. So in this way you can generate a default route. Now, apart from it, you are also having a command. I mean, you can also redistribute default route into BGP. Like for an example, let's move on R5, remove this prefix, I mean this command from here. This is like if you want to create a default route for a particular neighbor. Are you getting my point? So for a specific neighbor, you can generate a default route in this manner. But if you want to create a default route globally for all neighbors, then you can also perform redistribution of default route into BGP. You do one thing, move on R6 or R5, let's say you're on R5, you are having a default route in your routing table, static default route, might be, let's say that it is going towards null 0. Now you decided to redistribute it into the BGP so that BGP will start to advertise this default route towards all other neighbors. So say router BGP 65500, redistribute, do show IP BGP. Check it out. Does it have the default route in its own BGP table? So if it is not there, will it be really possible for it to advertise it towards any other neighbor now? Because if it is not having that redistributed prefix in its own BGP table, then how will it be possible for BGP to advertise it towards any other prefix? I mean towards any other peer? Of course no. So remember that by default in BGP you cannot redistribute default route. In BGP, by default, you cannot redistribute your static default route. I mean, any type of default route, whether it was learned from OSPF or whatever it was, but you cannot redistribute any default route into BGP by default. Same as OSPF, like in OSPF, it was not possible to redistribute default route. Even in BGP also, it is not possible to redistribute default route by default, but like you configure this command redistribute static. Along with this, you have to you can also configure this command like default information originate. Then after, you do not have any route map command over here. If you want to redistribute your default route into BGP, for that purpose this command is also necessary. Default information originate in global configuration mode. Once you will configure this command, now you will see that it will start to redistribute static default route into BGP. Don't say that now this redistribute command is not required. Do show IP BGP, it will not be there now. So both of them are necessary. Are you getting my point? So there are two different methods to generate a default route. One is very simple. You can generate default route per neighbor. Neighbor default information originate, right? And you can also inject your default route in your global BGP table as well. I mean, you can also configure, you can generate a default route in BGP for all neighbors as well. I hope that you people have understood it now. Everywhere, you will get it everywhere now. Do show IP BGP, sorry, show IP BGP. That's why I said that in most of the cases you will be configuring per neighbor. You will configure default route per neighbor. Because now you see that this default route has been advertised from R5 in the direction of ISPs as well. Of course, it is wrong. But if it is required for you, let's say you are a ISP and you want to advertise a default route towards all other neighbors, then you can put this command. Understood? So this is that how can we configure a default route into BGP, right guys? So after going through all these practicals, now what I think that BGP is complete now, except I think we have also covered peer groups, right? Do you remember that we configured peer group, like in case of IPGP neighbors? During route reflectors I configured peer groups as well. So now most of the practicals have already done. Then after it, let's go for unequal cost load balancing as well in BGP. It also supports unequal cost load balancing, but make sure that you are having an internet connection from the same ISPs. So this time what will I do on R5? I will shut down neighbor Sprint. Shut it down. Fine. show IP BGP, so it will start to receive all these prefixes coming from BT only. R6 is also receiving these prefixes coming from BT only. Now R1, see, remember that R5 and R6 will not perform load balancing because they are receiving prefixes from their eBGP neighbor, but R1 is getting all these prefixes coming from both iBGP neighbors, right? By default it is not performing load balancing because by default maximum path is what? 1, and also its IGP cost is unequal. So first of all make it equal, like I will move on R4 on its Ethernet 2 by F 2 by IPSPF cost is what? 60. Now you will see that from R1 its cost will be same. Just wait. Now do one thing, say router BGP 65500 maximum paths iBGP. Check it out. It has started to perform equal cost load balancing. Now let's say that here you are having on link 2 you are having bandwidth of 1 Mbps. You understand? And here on link 3 you are having only 512 kbps. So actually via R5 traffic, more traffic should go via R5 rather than R6. However, R1 will be performing equal cost load balancing, but R1 should share traffic, should perform load balancing according to their available bandwidth. So we can achieve it in BGP. It is possible, right? So right now what will I do? I will move on R5 S1 by 3 and bandwidth is what? 1000. So that its bandwidth will become 1 Mbps. On R6 S1 by 0. Show interface S1 by 0. Check it out. Right? On R5. This is fine. Still there is no effect, like there is no information about their bandwidth, right? So it will perform equal cost load balancing. But if you want to perform now unequal cost load balancing, for that purpose you have to enable DMZ link bandwidth. There is a feature in BGP which is known as DMZ link bandwidth. First of all, R1 must perform equal cost load balancing for its iBGP neighbor. If R1 is, if you are having this type of design, this type of scenario where R1 is performing, this router is performing equal cost load balancing for both iBGP neighbor, and if both iBGP neighbors are having their eBGP neighbors, then we can achieve this task. We can configure unequal cost load balancing. So here I'm gonna to enable this DMZ link bandwidth now. Router BGP 65500. Say DMZ BGP DMZ link bandwidth. Just enable this feature on R1. Then after enabling this feature over here, go to R5. Router BGP 65500 for neighbor 205, because R5 means 200.205.100.1. Sorry, 105, right? 105.100.1 DMZ link bandwidth. And then also you have to inform to your iBGP neighbor as well, right? So say neighbor 150.1.1 send community, and this bandwidth information will go in the form of extended community. This bandwidth information will go up to R1 in the form of extended community. As I said earlier on, that extended communities will be used by BGP itself for its own use, right? So this time you see that this bandwidth information will be advertised by R5 towards its iBGP neighbor in the form of extended community. And then after move on R6, also enable this DMZ link bandwidth for its neighbor BT, neighbor 201.100.1 DMZ link bandwidth. Then say neighbor 150.1.1 send community, which one? Extended, right? After doing this configuration, move back again on R1. say clear IP BGP star in, and then see show IP BGP, show IP route BGP. It is by looking at routing table, it will look or it will show us that okay, it is performing equal cost load balancing. But if you check its prefix, individual prefix like 100.0, check it out what is happening.
0 रेशो में करती बैठे उसी रेशो में बैठे
Simple. You see, via R6 64, via R5 it's 125, just double, because R5 was having just double bandwidth rather than R6. So this information is given by R5 and R6, and this information is coming in the form of extended community. So on R1, first of all you need to perform equal cost load balancing. Fine, and then you have to enable this feature DMZ link bandwidth. Then after move on R5, do this configuration. Enable DMZ link bandwidth feature for its eBGP neighbor, and then send extended community towards your iBGP neighbor, right? The same configuration will be done on R6, and this is called an equal cost load balancing. So generally we say that the ICRP is the only protocol which supports unequal cost load balancing, but apart from that this BGP is also supporting unequal cost load balancing. So I hope that you people have understood it now.
सेम बैंडविड्थ भी तो भेज ही सकता हूँ.
If both of them are having same bandwidth, then there will not be any problem. We will never configure an equal cost load balancing.
64 and 125 भी है ना, वहाँ पे 1 MB और यहाँ पे.
See, actually they are giving this, they are giving that information only, but R1 have calculated ratio. If you check, yes, if you check, like just capture it, and let's move back again on R1. Say clear IP BGP star in. Now go to Wireshark. BGP will send its update message given by R5 to R1, as well as of course it must go from R6 to R1 as well. Length is 8 bytes. So it is not showing me that which kind of information is there, but it is having this extended community, right? And you can also open this update given by right, this one. So actually it is having this bandwidth information over here. However, it is not showing me over here because it is also not possible for Wireshark to show me each and everything over here. Otherwise it was having what? Bandwidth information, right? Fine. So it is going in the form of extended community. It has also proved. So all these things are there in BGP. And now finally it's timers. I think I have already taught you timers, advertisement interval. I have taught you that how to change advertisement interval, and also I have already taught you that how to change keep alive interval and what? Hold down timer. It is possible to configure these things per neighbor as well as globally for all neighbors, right? But if you have configured your timers globally and also you have configured your timers per neighbor, so by default per neighbor timers will take place. Fine guys, and the commands are very simple to change your timers. If I have not covered it yet, then I will tell you, like BGP timers BGP, and you see keep alive interval is like 60, so make it 50. Hold down timer is by default make it 150. So you can change your timers in this way. If you want to change your timers per neighbor, then you can also say 150.1.5.1 timers, and then keep alive interval is what? 30. Hold down timer is what? 90. You understand? Fine. So this is that how you can configure all these timers in BGP. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. So this is the end of this topic. That's BGP. We'll be coming with few more topics and few more videos. Thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel. That's ARC underscore tutorial. Thank you so much, guys. See you later.